Again, I know this from your show. Who do you think calls the plays for the Browns in 2024?
I don't care who calls the plays. I just care that whoever calls the plays is the one that's like has, let's call it, majority ownership of the offense, right? Like that's what matters. Is the guy who has 51% stake in this offense, the guy who's signing off on the play sheet, because the play sheet's more important, is that the guy calling the plays? Because that's who should be calling the plays. The guy responsible for the play sheet should be the one who is calling the plays, because that's how you get questions answered quickly, right? A lot of the stuff with calling plays is logistical, right? Sometimes teams will prefer to have a guy on the sideline call the plays, because if something goes down with the comms, it's easier to get the play in if the coach is on the sideline. And Kevin might be the head coach. He's on the sideline. So he might end up being the guy who calls the plays, because that has more fail safes involved than if Ken Dorsey, who likes to be in the booth, is the one calling the plays. Now, I don't know where teams are, like the level of communication, the level of antenna technology we should have. We should be beyond that, but it still happens plenty of times. So it might be a comms thing, it might be due to something else, but a lot of what goes into play calling is making sure that you can get a call played. I mean, a play called with like 20 to 15 seconds on that play clock, so that your quarterback has enough time to do some pre-snap stuff and check in and out of whatever it is. All the play caller is doing is picking from a sheet of recommended plays that the entire offense put together. So if you think that anything Ken Dorsey would call is much different than what Kevin Stefanski would call, it's not true. They're all picking from the same play sheet. It's just a matter of who's in charge of telling the quarterback that play. It's more logistical than it is strategic.
Yeah, and people keep trying to ask Kevin Stefanski about the play calling, and he's doing a masterful job of not answering that, because I believe him when he says he doesn't. They haven't decided that. They're not at that point yet. They're still installing the offense, so it'll come. And you know what? If he wants to call the plays, that's great. If he doesn't, if he wants Ken Dorsey to call the plays, that's great too. I'm with you. Who calls the plays is not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and it's funny how we like hold it around like he's just like we're making it seem like Kevin is waiting to pass off the golden keys to the offense to whoever it is that is going to call the plays. And I bet Kevin's just like, yeah, we'll just figure out what works in the preseason, what makes more sense to get the play call any quicker. I think that's really what it's about. They're going to wait to the preseason. Does it make sense? Does Ken communicate well with Deshaun Watson in his helmet? Is that stuff going through smoothly? Logistical stuff is what's going to determine that more than anything.